Wait. I mean, is it turned up?
No, it's turned up.
And we can,
It
Okay,
doesn't look like it's turned up on there.
can they not hear us?
Probably not.
Okay.
uh,
We chat them?
we can hear them, but I don't,
Well, when you
Not-
take over the screen and mute everybody, when
Yeah.
Alice and Michelle go on, then, you know, their audio may kick in.
right. Okay, well, why don't we go ahead and
Let me
have
get them
our,
to
have our
see us.
meeting? The
Oh, I
The
think
first
they can
thing I
see us.
wanted to do is
So
really
if I put
express,
this up, they'll see it.
oh, we cannot hear. Oh, okay, any ideas?
They won't,
Um,
unless I speak, they won't see
They
it.
can't hear us, though. They can't hear. I don't know.
And you
okay,
lapsed
we're-
and came back and it was
Yeah.
fine?
Do
Or
you
it
have,
didn't work?
do you have
No.
Allison's cell?
Yeah.
Terry, can you call her? I don't have Allison's cell.
Yeah, well,
Never had
that creates a lot of back noise.
How about
But,
I'm happy to put myself on mute and then call her?
okay.
Okay.
Michelle and Allison, I'm sure you guys tried this, but you did the little caret next to the microphone and like you test.
They
you
can't
test-
hear.
Oh, all right. Let me put it in the chat. Let me see if they can.
Oh, can they see? Look at, here, look at chat. I'll hold up to them.
It worked.
I don't know, I have my background. Not gonna work.
Here, I can put it in the chat.
Oh,
Terry, why don't you run the meeting while they
Try
figure it
again.
out?
Okay, well, why don't we do that? So basically, the first thing I just wanted to say was we wanted to wish our, deepest condolences to Kathy, who lost her sister and was at a funeral all weekend and things like that. And we really, our hearts go out to you, Kathy. We really, we're really thinking of you during this time. And that's also why I'm running the meeting today, just to kind of keep things off of her plate while she focuses on family. So it's really nice even for you to be here at our meeting today. So the first thing I want
Let me just, Terry, let me just say, I honestly, you all, thank you so much. It really warms your heart when, you're in a tough time and like people just come forward and step up and do things for you. And Terry could not have been more gracious through this whole time of just taking everything off my plate. So, and the only other thing I'll say is just, this situation was very sudden. My sister slipped and fell and ended up passing away 8 days later. And she's a mother of 4, and all 4 boys are married, and a grandmother of 10. And so it's been a month, and it's been really, really tough. But I will say there's 2 messages here that I keep telling people that came through loud and clear through this. And number 1 is never underestimate how much your children need you, because I have never seen such an outpouring of love from these children of hers who are grown and have children of their own. But just, I think as mothers, we underestimate how important we are to our families, and we shouldn't ever do that because it really was obvious. And number 2, as my other sister said, there's 4 of us, hold on to the railings all the time. She was just going too fast and went down and slipped. So anyway, that's it. I thank you for all your support, and especially again to, all of you who have jumped in and kind of helped me through this time. So that's it.
Okay, Kathy, well, we're all thinking of you.
This is gonna go on 15 minutes before we start your program.
I wanted to see if I could get a nomination to approve February
Okay,
minute.
well, yeah, I mean, I suppose I can like talk into the phone like I'm talking to you. And you can still see me, yeah.
No, on the steps because she's holding onto the railing.
Seeing you.
Yeah, you can see me, and then if I'm talking on your phone and you put it on speaker,
Sister.
oh
We hear
no,
you. We
the
hear
rest
you
of the people
perfectly.
won't be able to hear it.
Yeah.
Or will they?
Well, they
Hey,
might be able to hear it through
Karen?
you.
Could you send Beth Dussman the Zoom link?
Here, I'm gonna unfortunately have to leave the meeting early. I probably wasn't the best person to call. We'll figure it out. As everyone, I think the plan is as everyone mutes themselves, hopefully you'll be able to get audio.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Bye.
Here next to the microphone.
Okay, so could I have a motion to approve the February meeting minutes? Okay,
Kathy,
Kathy,
thank you.
and seconded. Okay, Carol.
Carol, thank you.
Okay, so all in favor that they are approved, say aye.
Hi.
Raise your hand. Okay, great. Okay. Sounds good. I think they've been approved. So the next thing is Karen had a quick programs update.
Have indoor speakers.
Our next month's meeting, we're going to be at the
Doing audio by phone.
Botanic Garden. The idea is, we're going to be outside. We may have to break into kind of smaller groups and, maybe we'll have something where you have to go and find a certain number of things, but there should be a number of things coming up at the garden by a month from now. And we just thought it'd kind of be nice to be outside and in person and kind of enjoying that wonderful the Botanic Gardens. That's so close, but sometimes you almost have to have an event to get you up there. So stay tuned and we will send out details for that shortly.
Great. All right. Well, very exciting. I think everybody's excited to be able to get outside and stuff. And we're going to make the most of that this year as we can with COVID and being safe. But yeah, that's very exciting.
Karen, do you have a date for that?
Mhm.
It is the second Tuesday in April. So it would be, let's see, hold on here. Looks like it would be the 13th.
Thank you.
And we would do it at our regular time, which should be like 1 p.m.
Okay, awesome. Membership, Anne was unable to join us. But she said that with in-person programs scheduled to begin soon, that the Weeders should consider whether they have friends or who are potential members and might like to come to a spring meeting as a guest. So think about that as we have these different things planned,
So they can see us, but they can't.
going
Can they
forward.
not hear us?
No, they can't hear us.
So,
Can't hear
and
them.
then
Weird that both the microphone.
then Treasurer Marley was unable to join us, but she just said that she will be sending out an email at the
She
end
said
of
we
this
can
week.
hear- From Robin Limbaugh to everyone, I can hear you when I'm on mute.
Oh,
Oh, so they all have to be on mute.
maybe how they said it, right?
Okay. So anyway, at the end of this week, we'll get information on sending in dues. It'll be $55 again. And she's been out of town, so she put off sending this out because she wants to be back in town to get to receive all of our dues, which will flow into her next week. So anyway, and that's it. I'm going to turn it over now to Allison Cassato of Chestnut Street Flowers. She and Michelle are going to help, her partner, Michelle McKenna, are going to walk us through our own hands-on flowering arrangement. And so hopefully this will work where they can hear us. I'm going to ask everyone to mute, or, I can go ahead and mute people except for Chestnut Street Flowers. Okay, so take it away, Allison.
I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
I don't know a lot about Zoom.
We should have had her come. We should have had
As
Terry
long
come
as
here.
we can hear, as long as we can hear
Is it an
her,
issue? We never
we're
had an
all
issue.
muted. So there's
We've
really
never done
nothing
it by
for her to
ourselves
hear from
before.
us.
We did. We've done it like 3 times.
With who?
We did.
But Terry can hear. Mm-mm. came here and set up, remember?
And then we had the one where I did the tree, the boxwood tree, and you did the other thing. There were two we did over the holidays. That weren't Winnetka Weeders, two different things. Just have flowers. Oh, you can? Then why can't we hear you guys? Okay, but what if you guys want to ask questions or something? You know what, like, we could have a phone call to somebody, and if there was a question, like, I could.
Yeah, we could keep
we could
it,
connect
or
on
you
the
could,
phone
or you
with
could
one
text
person
us.
And, do I? Okay. All right. Right. So we should start? So they can all hear you.
They can.
Yeah.
Okay. So do they want us to start?
Should we start?
Give us a thumbs up. We should go? Okay.
All right.
Alexa, turn off. Okay, hi, everybody. Sorry, I don't know what's wrong with the audio situation. Maybe it's possibly our speakers. I mean, apparently our microphone works, if you can hear us. So anyway, good afternoon. I hope everybody is enjoying this fabulous day. Spring is finally joined us. So I know I'm delighted, and I'm starting to see signs of spring everywhere. Little bit underneath the snow in my garden, but it's getting better every day. Well, today we've done a few arrangements together in the past that are a little bit more complicated, and today I thought about it, and I thought we should really do something just simple and easy, and something that you can do every day. And the most basic thing I thought of was picking up a bouquet of flowers at the grocery store that we all do. Well, I don't do so much anymore, but I think most people grab a bouquet on their way out from time to time, and it usually looks, in my opinion anyway, it usually looks a little stiff and kind of unnatural. It's all the stems are essentially the same height, and it looks sort of pretty when it's all wrapped up in the wrapping, but once you get it out, they just kind of all fall, and it doesn't seem like there's very much design involved. And then you start cutting them and trying to arrange them, and sometimes it just doesn't get better as quickly. But I'm thinking, and especially with a lot of the time grocery store flowers, the little bouquets that we get are often pulled together with not such premium flowers. So as I've been at this for the last 20, 30 years, the better the flowers, the easier most of the time it is to work with them. The fresher and more premium is what I call. The nicer they're going to look, and the nicer they're going to last. So that's another part of our project today, is I'll just review with you, because I know we've done this many times before, how to condition and how to make your flowers last as long as possible. So the first thing that we're going to do, the first thing is that I did was select a vase. And so everyone should have one of these birch vases. This one is very basic. It's simple looking. I chose it because it's very natural. It's great for just a bouquet of mixed flowers, but I was thinking it was also would be great with, because of the natural look to it, it would be nice for branches. And I've noticed, since I've been going down to the wholesaler, that all the branches are starting to arrive. They started with quince, and now the, forsythia. I got some forsythia the other day, and then just yesterday, I picked up some apple blossom, cherry blossom. So everything's out, and it's really exciting. That's one of my favorite things. So I'm thinking after, think about that, bringing some of the outside in, and you can watch, if you want to grab a bouquet or a few stems of blossoms, you can watch them up close in your house and see how they, change from day to day. I'm going to grab one stem. Hang on one second. This is a cherry blossom stem that I got yesterday. So you can imagine this whole vase, filled with 5 or 6 stems. You really don't need too many. Could you hand me those snips? Sorry. I just want to remind you about how to deal with, thank you, woody stems like this. Any branches or, lilacs, viburnum, anything that has a real woody stem, you always want to cut it just like we do our flowers on an angle, and then cut it right up the center of the stem, okay? Because that'll offer the largest surface to absorb water, and then even more so when you cut it up the stem. Some people smash the stem, but I think that probably hurts the vascular system in there somehow by smashing, I would just imagine. So I always just cut off the center. But anyway, I wanted to give you that tip about not to forget branches this spring, because they go so fast. The season is really fleeting, and they're hard to find. Like in the next few weeks, we probably, once we hit the wholesaler, we might be out of luck. So anyway, with that being said, okay, so we're going to start with our vase. And another reason why I chose this one is because this shape, this very classic like V shape, is easier to work with. Some vases are just plain easier than others. Anything that's like really straight lined or short, you're going to just have more trouble with stems. And when you get a vase like this in a classic V shape, they just kind of fall easier and they look more natural. Like if I take my bouquet and I pop it in here, this is, well, it's still wrapped up, but it looks sort of unnatural. That's what we're going to work on today, is taking these apart and letting them fall more naturally and putting them in then some kind of a design, or arranging our flowers so they look more professional. So the first thing we're going to do is fill our vase, and I want to make sure everybody did get a packet of the flower food, and I just want to remind you too that always use it. I know a lot of times when you get your flowers and you get this little packet, a lot of people just toss it out, and don't think that it does much good, but it really, really does. And to remind you, oh, thanks, Michelle, to change your water every day and recut the stems. There we go, thanks. So we just filled it up about 3/4 or a little more with tap water, with just room temperature. Okay, so we are now going to, and remember that the food disinfects the water and it feeds the flowers and it balances the pH in the water, so it's all good. So you should always use it. Okay, so now we're going to start by reconditioning our flowers. And if everybody can take their bouquet of flowers, you should each have at least 20 stems. And I supplemented with some salal So everybody should have at least 5 stems of the salal as well. Okay, so I'm gonna open up my flowers. Everybody wants to do the same. Thank you. And usually what I do is, when I start a project, is sort of recondition them and divide them up. So by variety. So I did get a premium bouquet from the wholesaler. I got one hydrangea. I don't know what everybody else has. Everybody has their own thing going on. I have two, one's already broken. I have 2 Lysianthus. I'm gonna put those. I've got 2 roses. I have 2 sprays. I have this, which is pretty cool. This is a variety of ranunculus. It's kind of a wild ranunculus. I don't know if anybody's ever seen that. I have 1 little baby green hydrangea. I'm going to put that with my other one. I have a piece of Queen Anne's lace, which is kind of cool. I use that a lot. Then I have I have 2 pieces of acacia, which is really another cool flower, which I use often. And 2 pieces of, I always forget what this stuff is called, astrantia. It's really awesome. And I wish that I had audio so I could hear what everybody else has. But, oh well. Okay.
Maybe hold them up.
Maybe hold them up, hold up your flowers. So I hope everybody has all their flowers set out and arranged. And I think the first thing we're going to do is kind of recondition them too. If they haven't been, they should have been conditioned initially by the floral shop or the grocery store or wherever you got them. Usually I take everything below. So these ones are done. These ones need a little help. I'll get rid of some more leaves because again, we don't want anything below the water line. So I'm going to take off a little bit more. The roses, I'm going to go ahead and take off my guard petals because those are a little bruised. And this rose is open, but I can roll it between my hands like that and get it even more open. It's just a little trick. Here's my other one. If anybody, I don't have any, I'll tell you some other things that I do. I do use alstroemeria, and I noticed that in a lot of these bouquets, they're really heavy on alstroemeria, so I imagine that you all have some, or many of you may. Alstroemeria, I wonder, do we have a piece of it?
We might.
Michelle's gonna look and see if we have some alstra. I usually take off all of it because it has so many leaves with the blooms. I usually pluck off all the leaves that aren't attached to a bloom because that just brings out more of the color of the alstroemeria. I don't know if we do.
Yeah, I don't think we did.
Yeah.
We did, we don't have.
Okay. Another type of flower that you might have, well, probably you've got roses, so just, get rid of the foliage and the guard petals. But if you like the guard petals, then don't worry about it. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do once we got all of our flowers sort of reconditioned, actually, let me look at these. This one, I need to take off all those because that surely will be below the water line. These guys are okay. I don't really mind those leaves. The acacia is okay, and so is the Queen Anne's lace. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is structure, and that was another reason why I wanted you guys, thank you, to have some greens. We're going to I call it greening out. But it's also a way to provide, your initial structure for your arrangement. And really, I'm kind of stretching this all out. But when you get home from the grocery store with your bouquet of flowers, I mean, you should be able to put the, you know, if you spend 5 or 10 minutes redesigning them, you're going to enjoy them. I guarantee it so much more. Uh-oh, is somebody calling? So I'm going to start with my salal. I'm going to cut everything. You guys can see your salal, and we're going to make sort of a structure. We don't want everything to be the same height. Like when they gave you, all of your pieces are going to be about the same length. We want to cut them sort of in different lengths because I want to create, you know, a little bit more of an asymmetric balance in here. So I've got a little tiny one. Got another one there. And so right away, just with 5 pieces of salal or lemon leaf, whatever you want to call it, I've created sort of a very basic structure. And even if I threw in a few more pieces of this, it would actually look really pretty. Kind of looks like an arranged, sort of in a, you know, maybe you wouldn't want to put salal out, but the idea is that, you know, greens in a vase like this can be just as pretty. And if you know, you have to stuff it, you wouldn't want just 5 stems, but anyway, so now we're going to move on and start working with our blooms. And the first thing that what I like to call it is layering when I start the design with the flowers. It's layering just like anything. If you painted a picture or designed, you know, a room in your house, you start with the basics and then you keep layering upon it. Like you might have a beautiful couch that you just love, but you know, if you put a beautiful throw pillow, you know, you'll choose a throw pillow or you'll choose a throw blanket, and you start adding things to your design in your living room or to your couch or your sofa, and it builds on itself. And it starts to become much more appealing and much richer. And that's where you really get design into your life. Okay, so I'm going to start when I design with flowers. I always start with my largest blooms at the bottom. And so I'm looking at all of my blooms and I'm seeing, okay, I've got this is a mass flower. I've got 2 mass flowers there. My roses are mass, and my Queen Anne's lace is mass. These are sort of a hybrid. I actually might consider those mass. But then I have all these line flowers. I've got the Lysianthus and the Astrencia, and so I've got plenty of a good mix of line flowers and mass flowers to work with. And that's really, that's another thing that you want to keep, you know, you want to consider when you're choosing flowers for an arrangement or when you're working with flowers. So my first flower that I'm going to work with is in my largest flower, which is probably, I would consider my focal flower, is my hydrangea. And so I want to measure it. I want to, usually with hydrangeas, especially ones that have such big heads like this, I cut them low and like them to be able to have some reinforcement and sit on the lip of my vase. I just feel safer that they have a little bit of protection. Now I know that I've given you guys all this like tip in the past or hint of how to prolong hydrangeas. If anybody has hydrangeas in their bouquets, it's the alum tip. Okay, so I just cut it on a sharp angle. I'm dipping my stem right into the alum, and I still don't know exactly why this worked. But I've been doing it for years, and I keep passing it along because it really does work. So I'm going to go ahead and pop that stem right there. And it's sitting pretty low. Now, as I start to add things to my design, I'm going to, because I've created this structure, I'm sort of going to follow my structure. Like I have the height over here and I have some width over here. And I want to reinforce that because I like this look. I like this sort of asymmetrical look. So I'm going to start working with some more of my mass flowers. Actually, I think I'll go to a line flower. I gotta get rid of that one. And reinforce this element up here. Reinforce that. That vertical salal. And so right away, you can kind of appreciate that, oh, there's, okay, height there. And I think I'm going to, another trick with designing is, you know, one is good, but two and three are sometimes much better to sort of reinforce the look that you're trying to achieve. So I have one Lisianthus here, but if I add another Lizzie, color-wise and volume-wise, it just is a much stronger, it makes the element stronger when I have two of them with each other. I could do three, but we'll stick with that. Okay, so then I'm going to come back to my roses. And there again, it's a mass flower and they're quite big, these roses that I have. The sprays aren't so big, but so I want to keep these lower in my design. Okay, so I might bring these down here. And here too, I just like to keep them together. It doesn't necessarily, if you want to distribute them, if you don't want the massing, that's fine. Okay. And then when I see something that's broken or a bad leaf, don't be afraid to just, you know, use your ikebana or your ikebana techniques and just snip things off if there's dead leaves or, okay, so then I have another really beautiful, what am I trying to say, ranunculus, that could offer a great deal of height, but it also has some width going across it. So since I've used the Lisianthuses up here, I'm gonna cut this down just a bit and get off the rest of the leaves and maybe let's see. I'll make it just a little bit shorter, you can see there, than my Lisianthus in my highest element here. And have that just sort of peeking right above my hydrangea. Okay, here's another good mass flower. I'm gonna hide some stems in the back. That's another thing that some people don't really mind at all. I, being, you know, having worked at this for so long, it's sort of one of my pet peeves. I love to hide the stems. And that's one of another great quality about this vase. It's covered, and so it, you know, just naturally covers all the stems. But even in the vase, I kind of like stems to be covered up. And I also like the lip of the vase to not be so in your face. I like softness around the bottom. And so we can achieve that certainly by, you know, more foliage if we had it. But in these, you know, the store bouquets, they generally only give you, if they even give you any green or foliage, greens, maybe it's like 2 or 3 pieces. I didn't get any. And so that's why I supplemented, because I thought if you guys didn't get any, you want at least a few pieces for the structure, for the greening out. Okay, so I used my other hydrangea that I got to cover my lip here because I don't really have any more foliage to work with. I mean, I do. I've got a whole cooler full of it, but you don't. So things like this help. You know, there's this big, beautiful leaves on the hydrangea. I'm going to leave that because that gives a lot of natural coverage. And you know, it's something you expect to see there. Our Queen Anne's is also a great, would work for that. But another great thing about Queen Anne's, the more I work with it, is that you know, the head is so heavy, but it looks so heavy, but it's really not. It's pretty light. But the stem is very, very strong. And so I can use this, I can cut that about there and use this as a different kind of element. I can use it as sort of a draping element. And so I'm going to, I cut it a little bit longer because I want it to drape out over my design, covering the lip, and also because the big size of the head, it's covering my stems. So it can help cover up a lot of hills. Okay. So now, let's see, I'll move on from that. I'm trying to think of other flowers that can work like that naturally have an arc to them. Maybe the Alstroemeria, if you guys have Alstroemeria in there. What else is a really good arcing?
I'm trying to think of those little purple and white ones or green that we used.
I don't know, purple and green. Well, there's a lot of flowers that can be used like in that regard. I mean, ranunculus and a lot of things just have it, you know, they're not always standing straight up. They just naturally have a nice arc to them. Okay, so then I'm going to go on to, I'm going to use a couple of these spray roses. And even the spray roses, you can remove garb petals because sometimes they get real bruised and brown. And if you don't have spray roses, you don't have to worry about it. Okay, and these I'm sort of going to bring down a little bit lower in my design, but not entirely low because they are pretty small. So do you see how I fit that right in there? I kind of placed it with my other roses to sort of reinforce the white, the color blocking right over in this corner, and reinforce the, you know, beauty of that rose, or of those two roses. So I'm going to take off the guard petals on this. And color blocking is really fun. You could do a whole arrangement with just color blocking in some time. And if you're just looking for something to do and see how that works out for you. I mean, it's really cool where, you know, you use all of your yellow flowers down below, you know, you can build on it and okay, I'm going to cut this one at about the same length. Those spray roses are good for, they have a little bit of an arc in them as well. Okay. The arc allows for, I'm actually going to move that here, allows for just kind of naturally providing more width to your design when something arcs out of it like that. And it just loosens up the stiffness. The greatest thing to use is seeded uke. That It's a wonderful green to provide that. Now, I've used sort of my focal flowers and my secondary flowers, the roses. And I've started on my kind of, not really, these are sort of accents or filler flowers. Some people call them, not filler, but, well, let's just call them accent flowers. So I hate to use the term filler because these are actually really pretty premium flowers. This has a really cool kind of arc to it naturally. And so I'm going to put it up here and again, reinforce my height. And it's going to have probably twofold because if I put it back here, it can also bring me a little bit more drama and more width to my design. Back here. Again, that line flower just naturally follows my structure and branches out. I have one more piece of that. Maybe I can do that here too and follow the width down there. I hope everybody can see that. So literally, I'm just following the design that I started in the first place. I'm just layering on top of it and trying to achieve like a richer, more finished off look. Okay, I have one more piece of this really cool stuff. So let me look at it from here. I think I'll use it up on top again. Another tip is when you're working with flowers, I think that I've told you this before, but try and hold them as close, down to the bottom of the stem as possible. You kind of like move your hand up as you're placing your flowers, but it's always safer to hold them kind of like a pen way down at the bottom and ease them into your design. Okay, so now this is this great stuff called Astrencia. Yeah, Astrencia. Or no, this is Acacia. Can't seem to get that in my head. And it's really, it's beautiful. For sort of a accent flower, and this is sort of the lightest thing or the last thing that I'll add to my arrangement. If I had berries or something like that, I might be accenting it with berries. But this just has such a light, sort of carefree look to it. It really softens up, is what I like to say. When I'm looking, looking to add, finishing touches on my design, it just adds a really cool softening effect. And I'm going to take that one off and put it someplace else. So, Acacia. I've got to get that one down. All right, so I'm going to just pop that all over, just soften it all over. There we go. you see how things are popping out at different heights. That's another design track or design element that you want to keep in mind. You don't want everything to be like sort of that old fashioned, just sort of dome arrangement where everything, you know, is at the same height. It's much, I mean, nowadays, the more stylish arrangements have a lot more, they're much more asymmetrical generally, and they use the technique of having your flowers sort of more pop out at you. Okay, so there we go. There it is from both sides. I'm trying to think if I have another. Oh, I've got a few more pieces.
It's tight. It's like a boxwood.
No, it's a myrtle.
Oh, myrtle. Sorry, it's a myrtle.
I'm sorry. I have one more piece, so I'm going to make the most of all of the stems that I have.
No, I was going to deliver it.
Okay. So here I've got a little vignette in the back or the front, whichever you want to say, of roses, hydrangeas. I've got my acacia kind of spread out all over to soften it and leave my Queen Anne's and my hydrangea are sort of covering my lip, my vase, and covering my stems. So I think I'm happy with that. And all of those, I think I had 22 stems, all fit in there really well. Now the last thing that I'm going to do is use my finishing touch. And I know that I've talked to you guys many times about finishing touch. I can't live without this stuff. This actually is Crowning Glory. They're interchangeable. Really the same product. But another thing though that since I talked to you last, I realized is even better for hydrating your flowers at the end and keeping them, you know, for as many days as possible. First, I spray them with water. So where's my spray bottle? There should be a couple around here. Oh, here we go. Thanks, Michelle. So first, spray it with water. And some designers only use water. So I'm going to give it a really good spray. In that, a lot of people say the only types of flowers are hydrangeas that soak in or that absorb water from their flower. But I think that all flowers have to absorb some kind of moisture from their blooms because, you know, that's the only thing that could make sense to me. So I don't believe that it's just hydrangeas. So anyway, I spray them with water to get them really nice and hydrated. And then I sort of seal them with the Crowning Glory. And I don't know if anybody did go and purchase this product. You can get it online, and I think it's like $10 to $12, you think?
Yeah, probably.
You can get it at Amazon, and it's really fabulous. I mean, it definitely extends the life at least by I would say 3 to 5 days. What do you think? Yeah.
Or more.
Sometimes more. I mean, sometimes we've had hydrangeas sitting in the shop literally for 2 weeks that, you know, just look like the day that they bloomed when we use Crowning Glory. So here is I wish I could see everyone's. Maybe I can.
Yeah.
I don't know. You're probably all
What
still
about-
working on yours, but is anybody done with theirs? Can they lift it up? Oh wait, I see Karen's.
Can we do that? I'm so afraid to do it.
To touch it?
Because I'm afraid we're gonna, I don't know. I'm gonna mess it up. There we
Oh,
go.
I see yours, Karen.
Oh, pretty.
Oh, it's really pretty.
Okay.
So pretty.
Oh, I love all the colors in that birch. I just really love these vases.
Part of a
And
thing.
those are adorable. And I
Anyone
like
else?
how the Alstra is hanging out there, and you use, yeah, very good. And is the blue, I can't really tell, is that an iris?
Mhm.
It is an iris? Okay.
Like everyone's doing something.
Okay, let me see someone else's. Anybody?
Christy, how about yours? Let's see it. Oh, there's Christy's. Linda, do you have one? Oh, we can't see it because your background is on.
Yeah.
We're having
Okay,
trouble.
Kathy, how about you?
Look, Gloria has a very pretty
There we
one.
go.
Mine is like a
See,
bunch of
Kathy.
stems.
Oh,
that
Kathy,
I've
let
got
me see
around.
There's
yours.
Kathy. That's pretty.
Oh, you've got a lot of greens.
I've got a
Okay.
lot of
Come
greens.
back.
Then Gloria.
It disappeared quickly. Oh, the other
Gloria's
thing that I was going
oh,
to tell
that's
you about,
pretty.
when you get a bouquet of
Oh, that's-
flowers from the shop and you don't have any greens in there and you really want to create a structure and green it out, just, go outside your front door. And
Yeah.
now things are starting to bloom out and grow, just cut a few pieces from your shrubs and that will take care of your greening situation right away. In fact, the other day I used, although they were from my garden, but I bought a whole handful of hosta leaves, which were really cool in a design. So you can think of those as summer comes on. But really, if you need greens, just go outside and cut a few. Okay.
Great.
Oops.
So here's mine. Let's see if I can.
All right. I don't.
Hi, Karen. Does anybody have any questions?
Oh, is
Okay,
that
I
you?
have them on the phone. So if any of you have questions, unmute and ask me the question and I can ask Alice. Any questions? Terry, Carol,
I'm fine.
Amy, Kathy, Christy? No questions?
Everybody hold up your arrangement.
Everybody hold up your arrangement.
Oh, I see Carol.
There we go. Carol,
Yeah,
where's
mine.
yours?
And Gloria.
I'm
Gloria
frozen, I
is
think.
beautiful.
Yeah, so pretty.
Oh,
They're
Terry,
ti-
that's
I mean,
pretty.
I can hardly see them because
Yeah, I
the
don't-
little things are so small, but they look
Carol.
gorgeous. I just really
Fine.
love the vase. I love too how everything is just falling. So much easier.
Oh, this is fun to see everybody's
I do-
arrangement. They're all so different.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Everybody's different. Yeah.
I do have a
Fun.
question.
Oh,
There's
Sorry
on,
that our speaker
Okay,
didn't work.
who is it that, Terry, you have a question?
I have a question. So on
Terry has
this
a question.
flower,
There we go.
Oh wait, I see yours. Oh,
this
beautiful.
flower, so there's this on it. Do I keep it on or take it
Okay,
off?
she's got a Gerber daisy and it has a plastic casing along the stem. Do you leave it in the plastic casing when you put it in your vase, or do you take it out of the plastic casing?
Well, I never use plastic casing. The reason why that's on there is because it's a weak stemmed daisy. It is probably a little like on the older side. So like a really fresh premium Gerber, you wouldn't have that on there. Occasionally they will, because if they're really skinny, weak stemmed. Here's a trick about Gerber daisies. They love warm water. And they love a really super, super sharp angled cut.
Okay.
And if you do both of those things, when you condition them before you start your design, your Gerber daisy will stand straight up and it'll strengthen the stem. They
Wow.
like warm water and a sharp, sharp cut only with a sharp knife, not with scissors.
Not
There
with
again, I don't
scissors.
know what it is about their vascular system, but it likes the warmth
Huh.
Okay.
and it helps them, it helps strengthen their stem. Because that plastic thing just takes up a lot of room and you can kind of see it. But it
Yeah.
doesn't matter. If you can't see it, then leave it on because that's just going to protect, the flower. Another thing you can do is I will wire a Gerber daisy if I have a weak stem and I can't get it to stand up on its own. I'll wire it just like I would wire a rose, right up through the top, and then wrap the wire around the stem.
Okay.
Does anyone have any other questions?
Any other questions, guys? No?
Wait, what?
This was really fun.
It was
Thank
fun.
you.
Yes.
Thank you,
you.
Allison and Michelle. This was awesome. I'm sorry you
Thank
can't
you.
hear us, but it's so fun to see everybody's different arrangements.
It is.
Good. Well, I hope
And
that helped. I hope
Karen?
some you guys picked up at least, 1 or 2 tips on
Yes.
making, a grocery store, bouquet look a little bit more professional.
Right,
And
right.
more, and be able to enjoy it a little bit longer than you normally would.
I love it.
Right.
Karen,
Okay.
can you ask them to push
Okay.
theirs into
Thank
the
you
camera a
guys.
little
Enjoy
bit
this
more?
beautiful day.
Okay, Allison, before you disappear, put it to the front so that we can see your finished product.
Oh, you didn't see it?
No, I did just put it to the front. People are looking for a close-up. There you go.
Oh, okay.
Oh, pretty.
I'll spin it.
You see it?
Oh, it's so
Gorgeous.
pretty.
Oh, beautiful.
Beautiful.
That's
Is it in
great.
the camera? Because I can't get this. I don't
Yeah,
know
it's
what is
totally in the
going on.
camera.
It is.
Is it?
Yeah,
can
no,
you
it
see
looks
full
good. It
view?
looks
Okay.
great.
Yeah. I love
You've done
these
this- you've
vases.
done
I'm
this
so
before,
I
obviously.
wouldn't have found these vases if I hadn't been sourcing for you guys. So I'm so delighted.
Oh, good. I love this. It's a great
Yeah.
shape.
Really cool.
Yeah.
Really nice.
Okay, thank you so
Bye.
much, guys.
Thank you.
Bye,
It was really
ladies.
fun.
Good to see you all.
Thank
Take
you.
care.
Thank you.
Enjoy the sunshine.
You too.
Bye.